Is Erling Haaland even a normal footballer or a once-in-a-century biological glitch disguised as a striker? That's the question every defender thinks as he comes sprinting at them like a blonde Nordic freight train. His numbers don't make sports scientists say, wow. They make them say, wait, what? Because Haaland isn't terrifying just for his goals. It's the freakish combination of his body, engine, biomechanics, timing, efficiency, and mentality. Put it all together, and he stops looking human and starts looking like a football cheat code. The kind of athletic phenomenon you might see only once in 100 years. The body built for goals. Start with the raw frame. Haaland stands around 1.95 meters, weighs roughly 90 kilograms, and still carries low body fat. That gives him the build of someone who should be playing as a center back, or maybe as a bouncer outside a nightclub in Oslo. But he's not sluggish, nor does he lumber around the pitch like a tall striker from the early 2000s. Instead, he moves with the mobility of a winger half his size. His VO2 max, the measurement of how much oxygen his body can process, has been reported around 71 milliliters per kilogram per minute, elite endurance athlete territory. That means his giant frame doesn't slow him down, it fuels him. When defenders are gasping for air in the 85th minute, Haaland still looks like he's in the warm-up phase. The combination of height, strength, low fat, and elite endurance is absurdly rare. It's like giving a rugby forward the lungs of a marathon runner and the feet of a ballerina, and then sending him to terrorize goalkeepers. Physics says no. Haaland says yes. Big players are supposed to be slower. Everyone knows that. Football has taught us this for decades, but Haaland absolutely refuses to respect physics. In the Premier League, he has been recorded hitting speeds over 35 kilometers per hour, putting him right up there with the fastest wingers and fullbacks in the world. The secret lies in his stride length. His legs cover an unreasonable amount of land with each step. When he's in full sprint, he looks like a high-speed giraffe that figured out aerodynamics. What's even crazier is his acceleration. Tall players usually take time to hit their top speed, but Haaland reaches it in just a few powerful steps. His body leans forward like a sprinter, his arms drive like pistons, and within seconds, the defender who started level with him is now fading away in the background like a poorly loaded texture in a video game. The mixture of strength, explosive power, leg mechanics, and balance makes his sprinting style genuinely unique. He's not just fast, he's fast in a way someone his size simply shouldn't be. That's why when Manchester City counterattack, defenders don't chase back. They hope their insurance covers psychological trauma. The biomechanics behind his shooting. Watching Haaland shoot is like watching a medieval siege weapon in motion. His entire leg swings with the torque of a catapult, yet the precision of a well-calibrated machine. The science behind his finishing can be broken down into three things. First, he generates insane hip extension power. His long femurs and strong glutes act like a trebuchet system, transferring huge amounts of force into the ball. Second, his balance and posture stay unbelievably stable. Even when he's off balance, he somehow strikes the ball cleanly. And third, he uses minimal backlift. Goalkeepers barely see the shot coming before it's already screaming past them into the net. That's why so many of his goals look unstoppable. The ball doesn't gently roll into the corner. It's fired with the enthusiasm of someone trying to break the sound barrier. The champion walker of Europe. You've seen his goals, you've seen his sprints, but did you know Haaland spends a shocking amount of time walking? Earlier seasons' data showed he walked more kilometers than any other Premier League forward in certain phases. The highlight? Over 28 kilometers walked at stages of the season, the most of any outfield player at the time. It sounds funny, but this is genius. By staying still more often, he keeps his heart rate low and energy preserved. Then, at the exact moment defenders relax, he explodes into a sprint and destroys their entire defensive structure. It's like watching a lion in the savannah. 99% stillness. 1%, there goes the gazelle. This selective use of energy means his explosive moments stay explosive for all 90 minutes. It's not laziness, it's load management with PhD-level precision. A goal machine made of numbers and nightmares. Now for the output. Haaland's scoring numbers since joining Manchester City look like someone accidentally turned off the difficulty settings. He broke the Premier League goal record with 36 goals in his debut season, then followed it with more ridiculous tallies. By mid-2025, he had already blasted past 300 career goals, at an age when many strikers are still figuring out which side of the box they prefer. His shot selection is equally machine-like. Haaland doesn't waste energy taking Hollywood shots from 30 yards. He constantly positions himself inside the highest XG zones, waiting like a shark circling the most vulnerable spot. His finishing then converts those high-probability chances at a rate even other elite strikers can't match. Every stat screams the same thing. This isn't normal. This is optimized, refined, laser-guided destruction. Movement that breaks defenses. On TV, Haaland sometimes looks quiet, but the moment you watch his off-ball movement, you realize he is constantly making micro-adjustments. He moves along backlines like a burglar testing windows. One step here, 2 steps there, then a sudden burst toward the blind side of a defender. He's a master of timing. His runs are delayed just enough to avoid offsides, but early enough to attack space before anyone reacts. He positions his body so he's always ready to turn a half chance into a full chance. Tall strikers usually struggle to stay agile inside the box. Haaland moves like someone placed his 195-centimeter frame in agility cheat mode. He twists, angles, leans, and accelerates in ways biomechanically rare for someone built like a titan. Keeping the machine running. For an athlete who plays with such violence and intensity, injuries are part of the equation. Haaland has had his share: knee issues, muscle strains, and long layoffs. But Manchester City's medical team treat him like a Formula One car. They don't overload him. They manage his training load. They know pushing him too hard is like redlining a supercar engine. Spectacular, but risky. That careful management allows him to deliver monstrous performances without burning out his body too early. It's a delicate balance. Unleash the beast, but don't break the beast. A monster with discipline. To keep that frame functioning, Haaland reportedly eats around 6,000 calories a day. Not because he likes food, but because his body demands it. And no, it's not 10 pizzas and 4 chocolate cakes. He eats like an athlete obsessed with recovery, muscle maintenance, and performance. Add to that his sleep routines, his strength work, his mobility sessions, and the simple fact that he's obsessed with scoring. It's not a hobby, it's not a job, it's a mission. His competitiveness is so intense that teammates joke he gets grumpy when he only scores once. That hunger, emotional and physical, is the final ingredient. The once-in-a-century blueprint. When you combine his size, his endurance, his explosiveness, his speed, his efficiency, his intelligence, his movement patterns, his finishing ability, his scoring numbers, and his psychological wiring, you don't get a normal striker. You get a biological anomaly. You get a tactical nightmare. You get a sports science masterpiece. You get Erling Haaland, the once-in-a-century athlete football somehow convinced to play as a number 9. If you want, I can also turn this exact article into a polished YouTube script with intro, transitions, pacing, and a powerful outro. And that brings us to the end of this deep dive into the phenomenon known as Erling Haaland. If you enjoyed breaking down the science, the chaos, and the pure Nordic madness behind his dominance, make sure you hit that like and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.